What's going on, everybody? This is Corey Lee's Boxing, and we are back with another banger. So please smash that like button, you guys, and subscribe. And yeah, man, we're gonna talk, man. We're gonna talk this boxing tonight, man. Finally, we're gonna talk this boxing. It's a lot of speculation going on. I try to make videos of what's really going on in the world of boxing, instead of rumors and stuff like that. But this just came across my table, Corey Lee Boxing's table, and I feel like I need to talk about it because these are two fights that I wouldn't mind seeing. And with the Terrence Crawford versus Triple G, first off, that fight, it'll show me where Terrence Crawford is with the top, not even the top, because Triple G hasn't fought in a while, but a heavier guy, should I say, and heavier, and what I mean by that is heavier than 154. We're talking about Gennady Golovkin possibly fighting Terrence Crawford at 160. Okay. The guy he fought before was 154. Okay. And I could tell there was a weight difference. And look, Madrimov, broke Terrence Crawford's streak, which he had, he had been knocking out guy after guy after guy and just, really putting his imprint on the sport of boxing and knocking out guy after guy. I believe he had over 10 knockouts in a row. So let's count them here. He had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. He had 11 knockouts in a row. And so this broke an 11-fight knockout streak Terrence Crawford had. And when he fought Magnomov, Magnomov was 154. It was, Terrence Crawford's first time moving up. The scorecards read out 115, 113 twice, and 116, 112, all in favor of Terrence Bud Crawford to win the WBO, super welterweight title. They're saying it was an interim, but I believe he's elevated now to the WBO champion, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, man. So Terrence Crawford wound up winning that fight. I think he did well. I definitely think, I thought he could have got him out of there because, Magnomov shows signs of getting hurt. I mean, Magnomov had been in a war before this where I think the guy wasn't even on Terrence Crawford's level and stuff like that. So, it was things where I seen in Magnomov's, holes in his game plan and stuff like that, when he fought Magnid Korbanov, which was 25, and that was kind of a slugfest. That was a back and forth, kind of a slugfest. Even one judge had it 38-38 at the time of the stoppage. One ref had it a draw. It was a back and forth battle. But I think Korbanov, excuse me if I'm butchering his name, I don't think he's on the level of a Terrence Crawford. So that's why I was like, you know what? He did stop him, but I just feel like, Terrence Crawford's a different level. So while we're on the subject, Terrence Crawford versus Triple G, and then another thing too, not to switch the subject, but just to touch on it real quick. I want to talk about Gervonta Tank Davis versus Shakur Stevenson. This is a fight that's been in the works, or talked about, should I say, for a while now. And I think that's, Shakur Stevenson, I think he could have fought better competition. I want to see this fight, But back to the Terrence Crawford and Triple G fight. Smash that like button as soon as you guys come in, y'all. I definitely need y'all to get these likes up, man. 100% sure I need y'all to get these likes up. It helps with the visibility of the show, and it shows fans that, hey, I'm watching Corey Lee Boxing right now. So yeah, man. What we're gonna talk about is Terrence Crawford versus Triple G possibly, or Terrence Crawford versus Virgil Ortiz. Both fights, I wouldn't mind seeing. Um, Terrence Crawford, where do I start? He's an awesome fighter. He's got an awesome resume. He's coming off a career-defining fight last year fighting Earl Spence Jr. That was, in my eyes, that was his biggest fight thus far. Even over the Magnumov fight, they said your next fight is your biggest fight, but I beg to differ. I think that Earl Spence fight was bigger than the Magnumov fight because it was so much on the line. Earl Spence had three of the major sanctioning body belts as opposed to Terrence Crawford only having one. But we seen what Terrence Crawford did. Um, I'm not making any excuses because I picked Terrence Crawford to win the fight, but I do think that Earl Spence's car accident had a lot to play in that fight. Um, but listen, he wound up beating Danny Garcia coming into that fight. Um, and I just felt like, a lot of people thought Earl Spence was back to the old Earl Spence. And we seen that you know, that he wasn't. And some people would say that he doesn't know if, the car crash has something to do with it, his lifestyle has something to do with it. Whatever the case is, Terrence Crawford destroyed Earl Spence Jr. Just complete destruction. You got to understand, Spence went down in round two, and twice in round seven. That was a big fight. Um, and as far as Gennady Golovkin goes, um, you guys know that Terrence Crawford is undefeated. Let me just tell you guys his resume for the casuals that are listening. 41-0 with 31 knockouts. And that's another thing. Terrence Crawford is in striking range of Floyd Mayweather's, quote unquote greatest of all time, 50-0 record. That's a hell of a record. We know Rocky Marciano was up in the 40s, undefeated when he was out of the sport. And he retired undefeated. But I think that Floyd Mayweather did a lot in boxing, and I think Terrence Crawford in his next 9 fights can do a lot in boxing. I think Terrence Crawford is that type of fighter. I think if he can get busy and he can fight, really, really, really quick, and every 3 to 4 months, why not? That'll be 3 fights a year. He'll fight for the next 3 years, and that'll be 9 fights. You get 3 fights a year. Say you do 4 fights, but some of these fights he's fighting, for some of these fighters he's fighting, as we seen in the Magnumov fight. I mean, listen, he's fighting, top tier talent. You know what I mean? I think Magnumov, if he would have fought, at that weight class, at 154 pounds, I think that Magnumov probably could have beat Tim Tszyu, to be honest. To be honest with you, they got Terrence Crawford right now as the #1 welterweight, in the division. Super welterweight, excuse me, in the division, right behind Virgil Ortiz. Israel Magnumov is #3. Sebastian Fedora, #4. Tim Tszyu, #5. Jamel Charlo, #6. Boacek, #7. Martizalevi, excuse me if I'm butchering that. He's 31 and he's 22-0. Okay, I believe he's Russian. Yeah, I believe he's Russian if I'm not mistaken. But then you got Erickson Lubin, #9, and to finish it off, you got Ramos Jr., #10. And right out of the top 10, you got Brandon Adams, which knocked out Boacek, and then you got Charles Conwell, respectively 11 and 10. Out of that top class at 154 pounds, Terrence Crawford, it would make sense to fight Virgil Ortiz, being that Virgil Ortiz has a, piece of the WBC strap. But, he could be fighting. Listen, Gennady Golovkin is still, a name in boxing. His last fight was September 17th, 2022. And he fought, Canelo Alvarez 57-2 12, you know, listen, man, you know, when he fought Canelo Alvarez, that third fight, you know, both of the judges had it close, you know, 113, 115. One of the judges had a 112, 116. It was a close fight. It was a close fight. It could have went, you know, some say that the last fight, well, some say that the first fight, you know, in 2018, when he fought Canelo Alvarez for the second time. Remember, the first fight was a draw. A lot of people say that that second fight was really Gennady Golovkin's win, and the first fight should have been Gennady Golovkin's win too. So Canelo Alvarez, I mean, he's had, you know, he knocked out Steve Rose. I mean, excuse me, this is Gennady's, you know, resume. He knocked out Steve Rose, Sergey Gervonta. He went the distance with him. We just seen Severin Jagantinko against Mbili. That's another thing too. Derevchenko is a durable, you know, fighter. But you know, and Billy, you know, I'm hearing that he got, you know, he's trained by Mark Ramsey, which is Mark Ramsey is a hell of a trainer. He's the one that trained Elder Alvarez to upset and knock out Sergey Kovalev, you know, and really do numbers against him in that first fight. And obviously Kovalev came back and won the second one. But then Mark Ramsey trains, you know, Arthur Beterbiev, which is another very, very exciting pressure fighter. Both guys, you know, have different talents, but I think both guys have punching power. And I thought that in Billy, you know, I thought he could have stopped. Derevchenko had him hurt numerous times. But he was saying something might have been up. Derevchenko had a torn bicep, it looked like, you know, to be honest. But I'm not sure the official result of that. But yeah, man, it was a tough fight for Derevchenko. A lot of fighters would have quit, but he didn't. You know, he wound up staying with it. You know, he wound up staying with it. And that's what's up. You know, that's what's up. That's what's up. That's what I like to see. You know, a fighter that can stay with it and and really do what he got to do in that ring, man. Because that's what it's about. It's about W's. It's about, you know, fighters really showing that they're, you know, that they're here to fight. You know, that's what we want to see. And Triple G comes to fight every single time. You know, Triple G comes to fight every single time. So I don't want to hear that Triple G this or Triple G that. This shit is going to be a fight, man. Terrence Crawford is going to have a fight on his hands. I don't give a fuck if, excuse me, put the kids up. I don't give a fuck if Terrence Crawford was, you know, fighting a guy that was, you know, in Triple G that was, you know, 45. You know what I mean? Yeah, they're saying Triple G's 42 right now. But listen, long as he take care of himself, I don't know Triple G to drink. I don't know Triple G to do a whole lot of wild shit. I just know Triple G to really, you know, have punching power. And they say that, you know, the last thing to go in a fighter's career is his punching power. Gennady's 42-2 with one draw, never being knocked out, and both losses from Canelo Alvarez, both controversial losses, might I add. 42 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw. 37 of those by knockout. Gennady Golovkin has a 88% knockout ratio. So he's putting the pressure on you, and it's on you if you're going to fold or not. Because he's going to try to make you fold. And I think he's going to try to make and put a lot of pressure on Gennady Golovkin. He's going to try to put Gennady Golovkin is going to try to put a lot of pressure on Terrence Crawford. And I think Terrence Crawford, we seen where, you know, Magnumov, he respected his power to a point because he definitely was still coming in. And he was getting lit up. But he was touching Crawford too. And what I want to know is Triple G, I think, is a harder puncher than Magnumov, even at this age now. But like I said, I don't even know what Gennady Golovkin we're gonna see. I'll know after the first couple rounds, and then still, honestly speaking, you still don't really know. So, it's gonna be a tough fight no matter which way you point it. Gennady Golovkin is gonna be the bigger fighter. At 160 pounds, but that'll only be one more division higher than Terrence Crawford is right now, and that'll be a name which Gennady Golovkin has said lately in the last week or so, with an interview. He said, "I'm not retired," and he said, he's pretty much saying, I'm paraphrasing, I want to see what offers are out there. I want to see, what they're talking about, and I would love for the Saudis to do business with him, even if it's not Terrence Crawford. Just keep Gennady Golovkin busy, enough to see if he still has it. Because, who doesn't love knockouts? Who doesn't love to see, a fighter go in there and risk it all in Gennady Golovkin and try to come out with the knockout? You know what I mean? I thought he would have did a little bit more in that last fight against Canelo. He hasn't fought since then. That was in 2022. It'll, like I said, in September, it'll be 2 full years that Gennady Golovkin has been out of the ring. And remind you, he's not with Abel Sanchez anymore either. So to me, that plays a big part in this fight. You know what I mean? If they ever fought. Or whoever Gennady Golovkin fights again, that's, in the top 10, top 5. You're talking about a top pound for pound, top 5 pound for pound fighter. Top 3. Some say top, the numero uno, and Terrence Crawford. Some would say that, This is my shake too, y'all. I make a shake at the night sometimes. But listen, man. Terrence Crawford, man, from what I'm hearing, possibly could be open to the fact, or to the fight, Gennady Golovkin. Because let's look. Terrence Crawford could fight, right now he could fight, Jerron Boots Ennis. That fight, I believe, could be on the table for him. But he would have to go down to 147, or Jerron Boots Ennis could probably come up to 154. You know what I mean? So you guys gotta understand, man. It's one of those things where I want to see. I want to see, the best fight the best, and I think that Terrence Crawford will definitely risk it a lot more than Canelo Alvarez did. I think Canelo Alvarez wanted to outbox Triple G, and he he did in certain spots. I think that Terrence Crawford is going to definitely try to trade with Gennady Golovkin, and it's on Gennady Golovkin to connect. But I think if he does connect flush against Terrence Bud Crawford, it could be good night Irene. It could literally be good night. You know what I'm saying? And it could definitely be ice season. And Terrence Crawford could see himself on the canvas, quick fucking with Triple G. So, like I said, I would love to see that fight if that fight is made. I'm not opposed to that fight, but that's not the fight. I would rather want to see, Terrence Crawford versus Virgil Ortiz. That'll be a really good fight that I want to see. Shout out to Ghost Rider in the chat, man. He says Corey Lee boxing banger season. Yeah. Back with another banger. Hey. But yeah, man, right now, man, I want to see the best fight the best. And these two guys, Terrence Crawford and Gennady Golovkin. Even though Gennady Golovkin hasn't fought in a while, Gennady Golovkin is still a name, and he's still a person in boxing and a fighter in boxing, to be respected. Until I see otherwise. Smash that like button and subscribe. But yeah, man, I want to switch subjects, and I want to talk Shakur Stevenson versus Gervonta Tank Davis, okay? This is a fight that they have been talking about for a while now. And listen, it could be made, I feel like, if both parties can agree. I feel like it can be made. Um, I believe Shakur Stevenson is out of his promotional contract with Top Rank, which is awesome. That means he can fight a lot more fighters, and broaden his horizon when it comes to the level and the quality and the legacy of fighters and fights that he can make. I feel like, Shakur Stevenson needs to start making those fights. He still is young. I give him that. But at the same time, how many fights do you want to fight at that level? I want to see him in there with A-class fighters like himself. Listen, you can call it what it want. We've seen Gervonta Tank Davis in there with Ryan Garcia. Some would say, especially after the Devin Haney win, that he's an A-level fighter. Some would say Ryan Garcia is a B level. Some would say he's a C level, but he's definitely mentioned. You know what I'm saying? None of the fighters that I've seen Shakur fighting as of late are top A-level guys. You know what I mean? Smash that like button and subscribe, y'all. Let's get these likes up, man. And I'll be the first to tell you, man, if the guy's been fighting A-level guys, man. But I just feel like, right now, Shakur Stevenson hasn't been showing me a whole lot. He's 22-0 with 10 knockouts. He's got a, 45% KO ratio. And, listen, man. He's fought, can y'all name his last fight? Can y'all name the fighter that he last fought? Shakur Stevenson. And then if you can't, name the fighter that he fought before that. Because I can name you right now who Gervonta Tank Davis fought last. He fought Frank Martin and put him on his motherfucking back. That shit was definitely ice season. He put him out of his misery. Because the pressure, man, you guys got to understand, man. Gervonta Tank Davis is an assassin. I mean, he's like fucking 135 pounds to 140 pounds. And he really gets to it. He goes in there to try to knock your freaking head off by this, 6th or 7th round on up. He's going to let you tire yourself out. And then after that, he's going to go ahead and, see what you got left in the tank. And then he's going to test you. And if Shakur Stevenson doesn't have anything left in the tank in round 6, or if he has, some of it, out of the tank from trying to exchange or trying to win on the scorecards of the judges, in the Gervonta Tank Davis fight, and let's be honest, Shakur Stevenson hasn't even been on a fight in my eyes that's even been on the level of a fight of a Gervonta Tank Davis. Gervonta Tank Davis has already fought Ryan Garcia. I'm gonna be honest. I think that fight when he fought Ryan Garcia, I think that fight probably still sells more than the Shakur Stevenson fight. I think the Shakur Stevenson fight will be right under the Ryan Garcia Gervonta Davis fight in sales. I'm just being honest. I'm really being honest with you. I'm trying to be honest as possible. That's what I really think. I think that Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Tank Davis sells more than Gervonta Tank Davis versus Shakur Stevenson. I just do. Ryan Garcia is a fucking social media darling. You know what I mean? In so many ways and in so many words. I mean, he does wild, outlandish shit, and then the world, I'll say some of the world forgives him, and then he goes right back to the bullshit. Call it what he wants, call it, He needs to get help. He needs to do this, do that. Whatever the case may be, man, he still put Devin Haney on his fucking ass and on pause and on his back pause, you know. But that's just a fact, you know. I didn't think on some of them knockdowns that Devin Haney was going to even get up. I mean, now, you know, later, hindsight's 2020. But, I mean, later we see that, you know, Devin Haney got that that loss removed. So now he's still undefeated, which a lot of people are like, how the fuck did that happen? You know, after Ryan touched dirty, the commission won't let it fly. So they, you know, I believe they no contest to joint. But yeah, man, you know, Shakur, yes, he's fought, you know, some pretty good fighters. Jamel Herring, that was for the WBO strap. Then he fought, you know, Oscar Valdez. Valdez was down in the 6th round. He won that 118, 109, 118, 109, and 117, 110. But yeah, man, it was and then he fought Robinson Caseo. You know, he was stripped of his titles for missing weight, and titles were on the line for Caseo only. He wound up beating Caseo, which was I believe an Olympic gold medalist. He wound up beating him 118 to 108, 117, 109 twice. You know, I mean, he didn't fight. Then he fought Yoshini, you know, which, I mean, he's 16-0. Nobody knows him. Then he fought Edwin Dos Santos, De Los Santos, excuse me, for the vacant WBC world title. And he beat him 115, 113, and 116, 112 twice. Okay? And then in his last fight, man, I guarantee you, for the, you know, umpteen people that watch this, or the 100 people or more that watch this, 1,000 people watch this, who the fuck did Shakur Stevenson fight last without looking on BoxRec, without, you know, trying to Google it and none of that? Let me know word for word who he fought last. Okay? Because I guarantee you, if I had about 10 hardcore boxing fans that was right here in front of me, they couldn't tell me, all 10 of them could not tell me who Shakur Stevenson fought last. It's just bullshit. It's literally bullshit. And we want to see better out of our fighters, and we want to see better competition. We want to see the best fight the best. Okay? So let me know what you guys think in the comment section, man. Listen, man, I've been on this live stream. I'm going to go for 30 minutes, but I can drink all of this, man. It's a little bit left. Oatmeal, some whey protein, bananas, apple, water, alkaline water, and what else? Peanut butter. Yeah, my peanut butter too. So, yeah, man. Listen, y'all. Health is wealth, man. So you got to take care of your body. Closing out this live stream, you got to take care of your body. You know, shout out to Terrence Crawford. Shout out to Gennady Golovkin. Shout out to Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Tank Davis. They all are fighters, and they all leave it on the line. You know, if they might not do exactly what the fuck you want them to do, but you know, they're fighters at the end of the day, and I respect them all because it takes a lot to get into that ring each and every time. But yeah, man, follow me on social media at Corey Lee Boxing on Instagram. Um, and yeah, man, I hope you guys have a great week. And I'll try to come and talk more boxing this week with you guys. I'm trying to stay at least a weekly thing. It was a daily thing, but I run a whole nother business, you guys. So bear with me. Corey Lee Boxing is still here, live in the flesh, and I've been still keeping up with the sport, man. I like where the sport's going. With that Saudi Arabia money, man, anything's possible, to be honest. And they say they're gonna have these fighters fighting the best, fight the best. And I just can't wait to see if they can produce. You know, excuse me, the last couple fighters or the last couple fights, they've been okay, but they haven't been top tier. Shakur Stevenson versus Gervonta Tank Davis, or Terrence Crawford versus Virgil Ortiz, top tier, undefeated, top tier guys. So I'm just saying, Gervonta Davis undefeated, Shakur Stevenson undefeated, Terrence Crawford's undefeated, and Virgil Ortiz is undefeated after a tough win, in my eyes, against Bobacek versus Virgil Ortiz. And let's be honest, Terrence Crawford's coming off of a tougher win than we're used to seeing, and Magnumov. So listen, man, we're gonna see what these fighters can do. Um, I just want to see the best fight the best. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section, man. Please smash that like button and subscribe. And until next time, you guys, peace. Later, y'all.